Let's welcome in our morning guest. Gaurang Shah is now joining us. T.S. Hariyar is with us. Samit Chauhan and Vishal Malkan. Vishal Malkan is with us. Samit will just join us in just a bit. Gaurang, what's your call first? Do you expect RBI to cut rates?
Well, I don't think so. We'll have any kind of softness in terms of the rate cut coming through, and my sense is that it's going to be a while before we see any kind of rate cut coming through, and more importantly, I think it's the commentary that the market would want to listen into in terms of what the outlook is of the governor for the global and local economy, and of course some amount of statement or steps to suck out the so-called excess liquidity which is there in the system. More than that, I think it's going to be a non-event, maybe a knee-jerk reaction on the market, Pankaj, because a large part of the market participants already factored in that there's going to be a status quo. So my sense is that other than a knee-jerk reaction, I don't think the market is going to react anything on a major side.
Right. What are your calls for the day?
So from the broader markets, we like a name called Dish TV for a long time. We've been maintaining our positive stance on this one. Our target stands at about 125 to 130. The second one is from the banking pack, City Union Bank. Target stands at about 165 to 170. And the third one is from the metal pack, Hindalco. Target stands at about 225 to 230. These are all medium to long term calls that I'm talking about.
Hariyar, what are your calls?
Well, broadly today I'm long on three large cap stocks. The first, of course, is Kotak Bank, where especially after that last organic move of Kotak 811, I think they have made the right decision to go organic rather than inorganic. So we like the stock. I think we have a target of about 1050, 1100 on the stock. The second stock we like, of course, is an old favorite, SBI, where we have been long since about the 265, 270 levels. I think even at the current level of about 295, 297, towards the stock still looks good and has legs to run till about 330, 340. So that is the second stock. The third is a stock that has done very well in the last few days, or rather the last few weeks, which is Larsen and Toubro. And I think considering its traction on the defense business as also on a likely revival of the capital cycle, we are looking at a target of about 1900, 1950 in Larsen and Toubro.
All right, three large cap picks coming in from Mr. Hariyar. Vishal, what are your top picks?
Hi, good morning. I would like to go with one of my favorite picks, which I've been recommending since last 3 weeks, is Jet Airways. And I think there's still some more room left on that stock, and we can look at targets of around 575 to 580 in the next couple of trading weeks. And the second one which I'm looking at is Eminent Finance, which is poised at a very good level around 320, which is acting as a support, which was a resistance earlier, now acting as a support. I'm looking at a target of around 355 to 365 in the next 3 to 4 trading weeks. And the last one would be a small cap like JP Associate, which is given a breakout above that 13.5 level with good volumes on weekly charts. So I'm looking at a target of around 17.5 to 18 in the next few trading weeks on JP Associate.
All right, so we've got picks coming from Vishal, Jet Airways and JP Associates as well. Samit, good morning. What are your top picks? The markets are trading at all-time highs.
Good morning. Yes, we would like to stay with the trend. We have 3 recommendations, all would be on the long side. First one from the PSU banking space. We have been quite upbeat on PSU banking space since last 2 to 3 weeks. PNB, Union Bank and OBC were our preferred pick, and now looking at Canara Bank's price action that we saw yesterday, it has clearly broken out from its resistance, so that becomes our preferred pick, at least for a target of 330. So we recommend buying in Canara Bank for a target of 330, stop loss at 297. Our other buy call would be on Pidilite. After a consolidation of nearly 3 to 4 days, the stock has managed to give a decisive breakout yesterday with healthy volumes. Thus, we expect this rally to extend. Our immediate target for Pidilite would be around 740. Stop loss can be placed at 702. And our last call would be a buy call on Balmer Lorry. Clearly, it has been consolidating since last couple of weeks, but yesterday we saw encouraging signs on this counter. The stock has managed to give a decisive close around its important resistance with volume. So this clearly indicates that the stock is on the verge of giving a breakout from a resistance of 246. So we would anticipate this move, and we recommend buying in the stock for a target of 262. Stop loss can be fixed around 236.
All right, so we've got the picks coming in from Samit as well. Let's pull up the stock of Bharat Forge. Now, there are some news developments that impact this counter. We've got the Class 8 sales, truck sales in North America. And in the month of March, we've seen the Class 8 truck sales at 22,800 units. Truck sales are up 41% on a year-on-year basis, though on a sequential basis, month-on-month, they're down about half. But this is the third consecutive month of year-on-year gain coming in this year for these large trucks, and 20% of the FY16 standalone revenue from North America heavy trucks was for Bharat Forge. So for Bharat Forge, this is an important development. They get a large amount of revenues from the large trucks and their sales in North America. Baba Kalyani has said the performance of Class 8 volume trucks in North America is showing some signs of improvement, and currently in terms of order intake. So that is what Baba Kalyani is saying, that there is a sign of improvement, and this should translate into good order inflow for Bharat Forge as well.
Right, another auto company that will be in focus will be Bajaj Auto. There is a big auto report which has been released by Morgan Stanley, and there they have upgraded Bajaj Auto. It seems to be a big upgrade. Now their target price is, so they were overweight, they were underweight earlier, which is now overweight. Their target price is now 3,251. It's a 30% increase in the target price from the current level. More than about 15-17% is the sort of returns that they expect. Two-wheeler premiumization in India, that will be the key benefit for Bajaj Auto. Exports will also continue to grow. They are now valuing Bajaj at 16 times FY19 EPS, which is the cheapest that Bajaj has been, which is the cheapest if you compare it amongst peers. Strong balance sheet should drive or should support multiples going ahead. They expect that once in FY19 the company starts to see huge growth, there will also be a dividend payout which they expect close to 3.5% to be the sort of dividend number, and that's why they are in overweight.
Right, there are a few other stocks that are in the news, and we'll be watching out for them.
Right, Gaurang, what will be your call on some of these mid-cap names that are rallying day in and day out? Some of the companies which are yet to report earnings, but you're seeing this mid-cap frenzy in there. Do you think these are signs that markets are topping out?
Not necessarily, Pankaj, and in fact, if you go to see the earnings of some of the mid caps, they have been much better than the large cap ones. So maybe there is a case of re-rating as we go forward from here on. But having said that, I think you need to be a little bit careful, because not anything and everything that you touch on the mid cap and small cap universe would give you stellar returns. And of course, like you rightly mentioned, one needs to keep eyes on the fourth quarter earnings, which are likely to unfold very soon. So don't expect to make money on each and every small and mid cap stocks that is listed. I think there is a little bit of cautious approach that you should have over there.
Right. Overall, what will be your call on the markets? Where do you think Nifty is headed?
Well, I think our sense is that in the immediately medium term, we are possibly heading towards 9,500. Of course, with the caveat that earnings are almost on the door. If earnings have to deliver, which we strongly believe it will, and it is definitely going to be a shade better than what we saw in the third quarter, then I think 9,500 is just a formality. Possibly we could be heading even much more higher. The only problem is the prediction by SkyMet on the monsoon front, which is say 5% below normal as I hear it. I could stand to be corrected over there. That could play a little bit of spoilsport. But otherwise, I think a minor adjustment and correction, and then we will be moving much more higher, both on the Sensex and Nifty.
Right. In terms of technical calls, Vishal, what will be the call on market? So fundamentally, you're getting 9,500. Some strategists suggesting 10,000, 10,500 is possible. Where do you think, Vishal, technically markets can go?
And technically, the resistance what we see on Nifty is around 93.50, where it is currently poised. And the day by day things getting more and more euphoric, and the most elusive correction can come anytime. And buying on breakout would not be the best strategy as of now. Though if you are bullish, you should wait for dips to buy. And I think if you get a dip around 91.50, 9100, that would be a good buy rather than buying on breakouts.
Right. And for Bank Nifty, the mid cap index, if you track, do you think they will continue to go up?
No, I think both Nifty, Bank Nifty are poised at resistance. Even Bank Nifty has a resistance around 21,700 and 800, where it is currently poised. So even on that, if you look at a dip around 20,800, 20,900, So that would be a good dip to buy rather than buying at current levels where the risk reward would not favor.
Right. Hariyar, if you just look at PSU banks, you had suggested names like SBI when it was 275, 280. It's now gone to 295, 300 levels. Do you think still PSU banks can do well or outperform the market?
Not all PSU banks, Pankaj. I would rather be a little selective as far as PSU banks are concerned, because, say, let's not forget that, most of the large PSU names outside of SBI have a fairly large gross NPS in excess of 10 to 12%. So that's not a very healthy scenario. While we do like BOB, we continue to be concerned about the fairly large NPS that they have. SBI is a slightly different ball game. They have a very large balance sheet, and with the latest merger of the 5 associate banks, that balance sheet has actually got much larger. So I think NPS as a percentage of such a large balance sheets may not be too high, and that could actually work in favor of SBI. But I think what could actually trigger the turn in favor of SBI is the bad bank idea. If the bad bank idea goes through and SBI is able to reduce a chunk of the bad loans in its books, I think that would be a big trigger for the next round of growth as far as SBI is concerned.
Right, just about 20 seconds remaining for markets to open, so we'll wait and see as to what happens. Global cues are not positive. That is something which the markets may react to, but apart from that, there are no major stocks in news. Names like Bharat Forge, names like Bajaj Auto are some of the names that will be in focus. Reliance has done well, so that can also be a stock that continues to be in focus. Just seconds away from markets to open, we should start getting the first prizes anytime soon. Sensex in the pre-open is down 27 points. Nifty is down slightly higher, but that's maybe because some stocks have just reacted not on a positive way. That's the market opening for you. Nifty is 9,237, so not as much as what SGX was indicating. It's just down 27 points. SGX was already indicating a 38-point decline, which has not happened as of now. Aurobindo Pharma is down 5 rupees, 673. Kotak Bank is down 2 rupees. M&M is down close to 6 rupees, and Ambuja Cements was in green, but right now it's just blinking into the red. Cipla is down 2 rupees. Hero MotoCorp is down about 2 rupees. Asian Paints is down 10 rupees at this point of time, close to a percent. ACC is down about 0.6. Bharat Forge is up 1.5%. Remember, the North 8 class truck sales data came, which was positive. Maybe that's why it's reacting on the positive side, but 1.1% higher. Bajaj Auto, probably on the back of the upgrade, is up 43 rupees. Very strong move for Bajaj Auto. It's generally Morgan Stanley and what they do on the large cap space tend to impact the stock. That's Reliance Defense, not much in terms of impact, but they're having a board meet. But the management had already indicated that they would look for some sort of rights issue or some sort of fundraising. That's Phoenix Mills for you, 5% higher, 35,000 shares traded for Phoenix Mills. It's up. So any real estate news which comes in, actually the markets are reacting very on a very strong note. Power Grid is up close to about, it's absolutely flat, so it's actually not much in terms of change. M&M, they have done a new launch. Further details are still awaited, but it's absolutely flat at this point of time, so not much is happening over there. Let's look at Info Edge as well. Okay, no particular change as far as Info Edge is concerned. Anisha, any other names on the volume side that you can pick up?
Well, Pankaj, on the losing end, we are seeing stocks like Delta Corp now down 5%. We got NBL Infrastructure down 2%, Uttam Value Steels down 8%, and volumes higher than normal. Hindalco is down 1%, ICICI Bank is also down 1%, SBI is down nearly 1%. So some of the banking stocks seeing some amount of profit taking coming in today. On the gaining end, we have a few unusual names that are gaining today. Texmaco Rail is up 3.5%, Electro Steel is up 3%, J&K Bank, I don't remember seeing J&K Bank buzzing as much, but it's up 2.5% today. On volumes higher than normal. Even Titagarh Wagons is up 1.5%. JSW Energy is up 1.5%. JSPL is up 1.3%, and Engineers India is seeing a huge jump in volumes. 1.6 million shares have in any case changed hands. For EIL, that's up 1%. So the turnover for EIL is quite large. Vishal, what's your view on Yes Bank? While we have seen the likes of ICICI Bank and Axis Bank really stutter and fumble, this bank is making new highs on a daily basis. Okay, I think Vishal is not there. I'll ask Samit. Samit, what's your call on Yes Bank looking at the charts?
See, the trend has been quite strong since last many months. It's been maintaining its higher top higher bottom formation, and it has been maintaining its pattern. You see a good sharp rally followed by some consolidation, and then again a breakout. So this is what we have been witnessing. So trend is quite strong, so one should remain with the trend. You can shift your stop losses higher if you are already holding at lower levels. But one thing is sure, the low hanging fruit is already gone, so it becomes very difficult to enter such kind of stocks which are trading in uncharted territory, and day by day they are making new highs. So those who have bought it at lower level, they should remain invested. Just shift your stop losses higher. Now 1450, 1500 seems to be a very strong support as far as near term base is concerned. And yes, 1550, 1560 was a near term hurdle, but it's not a major hurdle as such. We expect the stock to move much higher. 1600, 1650 would be the next possible levels.
Right, Gaurang, you think Yes Bank can do what Maruti has done in auto? Whichever stocks, wherever they are going, this bank or this company will continue to grow?
Well, I don't know whether it will replicate the performance of Maruti, because if I'm not mistaken, last year March, it was sub 3,500 or thereabouts, Pankaj, when the entire chart agitation and the union problem happened. Post that, closer to 6,300 Maruti, well, it's been a significant recovery. We have a target of 6,800 on Maruti. For Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank, if I'm not wrong, and I stand to be corrected, 18 straight quarters of phenomenal earnings and growth. And I don't think this is going to disappear in thin air anytime sooner. More importantly, if you hear into the verbatim of the management in terms of growth, well, they are extremely confident and focused on that. And as we go forward, I think the growth from the retail side is going to drive the earnings for some of the private sector mid-sized banks. And that's where my sense is that names like Kotak, names like Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank will play a very significant role. We are positive on both the names, IndusInd Bank, Yes Bank, including Kotak Bank. And our sense is that maybe a brief period of consolidation and then a move upwards on fallback of earnings cannot be ruled out.
Right. What is your call on the real estate sector, Gaurang? You saw yesterday news flow on Sobha. It went up 18%. We have Phoenix Mills now, which is up around 5% on some funding news flow. Any positive news flow is being cheered by the market?
Well, this is a notorious sector, Pankaj, real estate. And within the sector, well, we also believe that it's not right to paint all the companies with the same color and brush. We are positive on 4 or 5 names. Sobha, Godrej Properties, Mahindra Lifespace, Oberoi Realty and Prestige Estates. Now, if you look at the balance sheet of all these 4 or 5 companies, well, they look much more stronger. Debt on the balance sheet is virtually zero or negligible, and their execution is extremely good. And realizations are also equally better than the industry standard. The only problem, Pankaj, is because these names are associated with a high beta real estate sector, they also have to face the same fate as the sector would. And equally optimistic about the finance minister making statement of affordable housing, changing the definition and giving it infrastructure status. Now, some of the names within this 4 or 5 or maybe most of them are capable of executing large projects in terms of affordable housing. So yes, after seeing yesterday's run-up, my advice would be to wait for a correction and then go and make any fresh investments. If you're holding on to it on all these 5 names, you can continue to hold on.
Right. Harihar, what will be your call on the real estate pack? Any top picks over there?
No, we still stick to our 2 old favorites. One is of course DLF, where we expect that the deleveraging that is happening because of the sale of the commercial side of the business is going to help the stock a lot. The second of course is Sobha, I think, which Gaurang also mentioned. I think that's one very niche player based out of South India, good financials, low debt. That's the stock we have liked, and I think it has corrected from its peak of about 570, 580 a couple of years back. So I think this is definitely a very good entry point as far as Sobha is concerned. So probably we'll stick to DLF and Sobha in the real estate space at this point of time.
Right. Samit, any call on the mid-cap real estate names? So names like Indiabulls Real Estate did very well, HDIL did very well. Any calls on these names on the technical side?
Yes, Pankaj, from these space, yes, we like Indiabulls Real Estate since last couple of months. It has already formed a strong base around 60, 65. From there, we saw some consolidation, and last week we witnessed a good price volume breakout from near-term concession zone. So earlier this was somewhere around 83, 84, and we saw this breakout with humongous volume. And post that, we have been witnessing extending rally. So looking at the overall daily weekly chart, yes, Indiabulls Real Estate would be a preferred pick as far as mid-cap realty stocks are concerned, and we would expect the stock to head higher from current level. 105 would be our near-term target, but looking at the weekly and monthly chart structure, we expect the stock to move much higher. So we would expect the stock to surpass 105 quite soon, but that will take some time, probably few months.
Samit, have you had a look at some of these financial names like L&T Finance as well as Magma FinCorp? These smaller NBFCs on the charts are near resistance zones. What would you do with them?
See, honestly speaking, we have not been so active in this entire space since last 3 to 4 weeks. If you look at the L&T Finance, it has been just moving higher since last few months. It's been maintaining its strong uptrend. Clearly, it is in uncharted territory. Those who have bought it at lower level, they should now hold on to it by keeping a strict stop loss around 112, which has become a strong base. And on the higher side, this stock can continue this upward leg of the rally. Immediate target would be around 132, 136, but beyond that would be very difficult to take a call right now. As far as Magma FinCorp is concerned, we don't track this counter quite closely considering its inconsistent volume. But yesterday we saw a good upward bias in this particular stock with humongous volume. So we would expect extension of this rally. 128, 130 would be the immediate resistance levels to watch out for. But we won't be able to recommend this stock as we don't cover this stock quite closely.
All right. Mr. Harihar, do you have a view on some of the auto stocks like Maruti as well as Bajaj Auto? Now, Gaurang said that he expects fourth quarter earnings to be strong. But when it comes to auto sales, it's been a mixed bag. For Maruti, it's been good. And a day earlier, we saw Maruti see a very big move, 4% higher. Do you think it's time to be a little cautious in some of the auto stocks? Because, some incremental data is showing that wage growth is not that strong so far. So, this entire thesis about consumption remaining strong may really not work out if the monsoon is a little disappointing. What would you do with these two auto stocks?
See, if you just break up the monthly numbers of Maruti, I think one trend has been very consistent, that it has seen very good growth on the compact segment and the SUV segment, but then the entry level segment consisting of the Wagoner and the Alto has been consistently showing negative growth. So I believe that the so-called impact of demonetization apparently seems to continue, and Maruti is growing despite that impact of demonetization. So I wouldn't really recommend anyone to sell out of Maruti or go short on Maruti. I think this is a kind of a stock where you should either keep buying on every dips or keep holding on with a trailing stop loss or something like that. So Maruti is a stock where I think the momentum is amazingly in favor of the stock, and it has been giving the kind of performance that the market is expecting. Coming to Bajaj Auto, I think what is probably favoring Bajaj is that they're the least impacted as far as the BS3 to BS4 shifting of norms are concerned. And unlike Hero Honda, which is, or Hero Motor, which is left with a huge inventory of BS3 vehicles, Bajaj Auto had two advantages. One, it did not have an inventory, and number two was that it has got a very large export market compared to Hero. So even if it has an inventory, it always has an export market it can fall back upon. So I think these two things probably make Bajaj Auto quite attractive at these prices.
But for a new investor, would you advise buying Maruti at this price?
See, hard to say. My belief is that if Maruti continues to grow at these levels, its monthly numbers growth of 11 to 12%, I would believe that this stock can even touch 5 figures over the next 2 years. So if you're going to go from 6,000 to 10,000 in 2 years, I don't see any harm in any new investor buying the stock.
Right. Gaurang, any change in view on the oil marketing space? You had turned slightly cautious on this. Seeing the rupee movement and what's happening with crude, any change in stance?
Well, amongst all the three names, we are positive on all the three, HP, BP, IOC. The move from $50-51 to $53-54 a barrel on the Brent, and from sub $48 to close to $50-51 on the NYMEX. I think these are all momentarily higher trajectories that is not sustainable over a longer period of time. The output from shale is definitely going up. And our sense is that the strength in the rupee against the dollar, which is somewhere close to about 4.65% from Jan 2017 till date, has thrown in a little bit of choppiness and volatility. We believe that crude oil is not heading higher, but it will possibly be heading towards $50 and $45 a barrel mark. And in that scenario, I think you are going to see positivities emerge. And I don't think there is going to any significant policy changes from the government to impact this sector. So we remain positive from a long-term point of view on HPBP and IOC, and use dips and bad days to buy into it.
Right, so that was about the oil marketing companies, Gaurang. What will be your call on Reliance?
Well, more than oil, Jio is going to be the one that is going to be driving the earnings of this company, and a lot of numbers are there on the street, Pankaj, to be heard. We had remained positive on Reliance sub 1000, closer to 900 levels. Our target was 1080, 1125, 1135, which is already there in the price. We have not revisited the call, and we would wait for the earnings to unfold, and especially the huge excitement on Jio's front in terms of contribution to the balance sheet, I think will be visible over the next couple of quarters. So as of now, we just have a hold recommendation. If you ask me whether you should go and buy Reliance at these levels, well, I would definitely take not one step but 3 steps back.
So basically hold if till there is a decline.
Don't make any fresh buying at current levels. Wait for the earnings to unfold and let the story tell you something, visibility in terms of growth.
Right. Samit, L&T has also supported Reliance in the last few days, probably trying to play a catch-up. What is your call on Larsen & Toubro?
See, Pankaj, as a disclosure on budget day, we had recommended the stock around 1440, 1445. We had a near-term target of 1650, and day before yesterday, the stock hit 1650, 1650 level, and from there also it has extended its rally. So, looking at the overall structure, this stock is in a very strong uptrend, and after consolidation of few months, the stock has managed to give a decisive breakout. So, we don't see any major correction in this particular stock, at least in the near term, and we expect much higher levels. 1780, 1800 levels are quite possible. We don't expect any price wise correction as well. We might see some kind of time wise correction wherein the stock might consolidate a bit, but any minor dip, any consolidation within the range of 50-60 points from current level would be a good buying opportunity. Now 1600, 1620 seems to be a very strong support though.
Right, but that was the technical view. So, Harihar, what's the fundamental call? You think L&T, with the size that it is at or with the valuation that it is, can it re-rate?
Actually, Pankaj, to be fair, I think it's high time that L&T got re-rated, because I still recollect, I think in 2008, the peak price that L&T touched, I think today it's roughly at about 65-70% lower. The second peak price was 2011, I think that was about close to 2,900, 3,000. So from there, it's still down about 50%. So I think, over the last 5 or 6 years, there has been a tremendous negative perception because of the downside in the capital cycle. I'm not sure the capital cycle is recovering immediately, but definitely there are signs. But more importantly, I think L&T is increasingly becoming a defense company. Now 10% is I think the current share. It's likely to go to 20%. So I think that should be a big trigger as far as L&T is concerned. But I think it's high time the stock got re-rated. It has been at fairly low levels for too long.
Right. In terms of L&T, do you think people would now start to make what is the PE of the market, what is the PE that L&T is trading at? Do you think those will be calls that itself can get a good inflow in the company?
See, purely on PE basis, I think L&T may appear to be fully priced. That is always my worry as far as PE as a measure of valuation is concerned. Because good stocks at the beginning of a growth cycle tend to look overpriced, even if they may not be overpriced. So that is a danger when you look at L&T purely from a PE point of view. But I think what probably we need to understand is that we may not be at the bottom of the cycle, but I think we are close to the bottom of the cycle. So that is a call that we need to take, and then better the defense business. The Indian government is going to hive off a lot of the defense orders to Indian manufacturers, and we have seen RDL, L&T, Bharat Forge, all of them likely to be big beneficiaries of this move. So I think L&T will also be one of the beneficiaries, and considering that it has been in a downtrend for about 7 years, I think it's high time the stock gradually starts picking itself up.
Right. Gaurang, yesterday Magma Fincorp sold some assets, sold some bad assets, and the stock was up 10%. Is there any reason to cheer if they are selling bad assets?
Well, this stock is off the radar completely, Pankaj, and very difficult for me to comment. But yes, one should always have a cautious approach towards these kind of developments, because it may lead to a short-term euphoria, but long-term it could possibly be devastating in terms of the growth of the company. So, but again, I can't comment on buy, sell or hold because we don't have coverage on this one.
Right. Among the top 200 names, Gaurang, right now JSPL is one of the top gainers. It's up 4%. Yesterday you had a rally in base metals. Also, JSPL came out with its Q4 volume data, which was the best ever in FY17 and a good 12% growth in Q4. You think that's what is exciting the stock, or it's relatively now looking cheaper to names like Tata Steel, JSW Steel?
So Pankaj, close to 60-65 when all the hell broke loose because of the Colgate scam, we had a coverage, we maintained our positive view. Our target was 120, 125. It's there in the price. The recent strategy by the government to par down debt, to sell off their power business and focus on the core business growth is something that reinforces our confidence. At 129, 130 where the stock is trading well, I can't advise whether you should buy it at these levels. And in terms of strengthening the balance sheet and the future growth of the company, we would wait for some more clarity from the management and the earnings to unfold. But we are positive on Hindalco, I just mentioned that. We are equally positive on JSW Steel and Vedanta in the metal pack. These are some of the other stock investment idea from a long-term point of view.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out time for us. Just before we go, Gaurang, let's start with you. Any disclosures?
Well, thank you, Pankaj. No personal investment in any of these stocks that have been recommended or discussed. But we give similar requests to our clients.
Samit, disclosures for you?
I don't hold any of the discussed stocks, but our clients might be having positions.
Harihar, finally for you?
Kotak is a stock I have a small personal exposure, but the other stocks I think we can safely assume we have spoken about it to clients.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out time for us.
We're going to slip into a break at this point in time. When we come back, we will speak with market experts.